Hello and welcome. This is a very short video just going through some of the key changes that we've had to make to school to make sure it's safe for everyone, staff and students, when they come back from next week. Now, the key thing for us is to make sure that school is as normal as possible. We want students to go to lessons as normal. We want students to experience the same curriculum that they would have experienced in normal times. We want teaching and learning to be the key focus as ever, but also pastoral support, which we all know is incredibly important. We want to make sure that that's available to students as well. So I'm going to talk first of all about some of the changes around about the school. Now, you will have received a letter that goes through all of this in detail, so this really is just repeating what's in the letter. The first thing is that we're going to be in year group bubbles. Now, what that means is we're going to have slightly staggered starts to the beginning and the end of the day, so year groups aren't mixing. We're also going to have staggered lunches, staggered breaks, again, to make sure that students aren't mixing. There will be a temporary change to tutor time, and hopefully all of this is only going to be temporary, and we will be able to go back to our normal school as soon as possible. However, for now, because of the changes to the format of the school day, tutor time won't be as it normally is. So we won't be able to have vertical tutoring because that would involve different year groups mixing in the same class. So tutor groups will actually become year group house tutor groups, but that will all make sense when students come into school. The next thing that we're doing around the site is having a one-way system. Again, that will be clearly marked out on the floors and on the walls with arrows, so students are aware exactly of the movement around the school. Staff also have to follow the one-way system, and the reasoning behind that, again, is to try and reduce any mixing between year groups. Also, you will have heard the government guidance now. They've changed their view on face masks. We actually feel it is necessary, because we're staying in year group bubbles, to have face masks when we're walking around the communal areas of the school. So when people are going into corridors, this is staff and students, we expect you to wear a face mask. Now, it's really important with your face mask that you actually sanitise your hands before you touch the mask to put it on, and that you sanitise your hands when you take it off. That's to try and stop any spread of any germs that might be on your hands or on the face mask. So we're recommending that you bring in a small bottle of antibacterial gel, so you can antibac your hands and take your face mask off, only using the side bits of it, not touching the front of it, and again, antibac your hands when you get it out to pop it back on. We also recommend that you use a small plastic bag to actually store your face mask in, so it's not just shoved into a pocket. Okay. Social distancing. Now, again, the government guidance is that social distancing within bubbles isn't necessary. However, we think it's really important that we do all try and keep our distance from one another, and also making sure that you're always 2 meters away from any members of staff, any adults in the school, and anyone from a different year group to you. Now, when you come into school, you would have been allocated a gateway to come into and also a door to come into. We won't be having a student reception. So whereas ordinarily you would come into school via student reception, you would then hand in your coat and Viv would put it away and give you a token. We can't use that system for now because it's not safe to have so many people crowding around the corridor in that particular area. So there will be no student reception or no cloakroom available, which means you are going to have to keep your bag and your coat with you at all times. We still maintain the same rules. You can't walk around school with your coat on, so that means you're going to have a bag big enough to fit your coat and PE kit, if you've got PE that day, into the bag. Antibacterial dispensers around the site. We had them before we went into lockdown, and we've got plenty more now. So along every corridor, by every doorway, there are antibacterial dispensers. So we want you to be making sure that your hands are as clean as possible, as frequently as possible. We will also make sure we encourage students to wash their hands when they go past the toilets, because obviously the antibacterial wipes are good, but washing your hands is always going to be better if you're using soap and water. We've also appointed some extra cleaning staff. So during the school day, we used to have 1 member of staff always on site doing cleaning. We've now got at least 2 members of staff on site cleaning during the school day. They will be cleaning the banisters, although we have our students and staff not to touch the banisters, but also the areas that undergo high usage, door handles, making sure that they're antibacterial, wiping those down as well. so the site will be cleaner. In terms of lessons, we are going to have new feedback and marking systems. Now this links in because we shouldn't really be taking in lots of paperwork, lots of books from students and then taking them home and then us marking them and passing them back over. So when students come in during the first week for their 2-hour session, what will happen is during that time students will be shown how to access the new online assessment systems that we're going to be using. We will also send some parental guidance about that as well, so you're aware of what we're doing in terms of changing our marking systems. In classrooms, all desks will now be facing forwards. We won't be able to do the group work and sit opposite each other because government guidance says all desks need to be facing forwards. They are also 2 metres away from the front of the classroom, so you will always be 2 metres away from the teacher or any other adult that's in the school or that's in that classroom. Please, when you're in the classroom, you must stay in your seat. If you need to get up for any reason, raise your hand as normal, ask your teacher if you can leave your seat and explain to them. But please, unless you've got permission from a teacher, you need to stay in your seat and you need to sit where your teachers ask you to sit. I've already mentioned about social distancing from adults in the classroom. At the end of the lesson, we will need students to wipe down their desks and their chair where they've actually been. As we know, coronavirus is passed on through droplets. When we talk and during lessons, when people are talking, what will happen is droplets will fall onto the desk in front of you. Therefore, at the end of your lesson, you will be issued with an antibacterial wipe and you will wipe your desk and then place the wipe in a dustbin in the classroom to make sure that it's clean for the next group that are coming into the classroom. Again, just to reiterate there, we need to make sure we follow the one-way system when we leave our lesson and when we go to the next lesson. We also need to make sure we follow that one-way system when we leave school at the end of the day by the allocated exit and exit gate that we need to go through for our year group. So, as I said, this is just a short video to just go through some of the key changes. On the whole, the school is going to be absolutely the same as ever. We've got the same staff, we have got some new staff, which is exciting, but we are absolutely doing our utmost to keep school as normal as possible. We want you back in school, enjoying your learning, and we want students in school because we love it when it's full of happy children who are getting on really, really well.